EliteCyanYT says bruh. AbstruseCrowd47 is asking everyone is mining air. YT says I am thinking we need buses connecting the further train stations on the 7 and 11 lines. TheTrainGod9 says which buses? And how many? YT says well maybe 3. And maybe some new lines. TheTrainGod9 says at what station? EliteCyanYT says New Harrington and Quayston. TheTrainGod9 says okay. Any other ideas before I move on? AbstruseCrowd47 says move on. TrainGod9 says okay. Next topic. Train choose. You're only choosing one line to work on. AbstruseCrowd47. TheTrainGod9 is pointing over there. TheTrainGod9 says Y or Z. God9 says okay. Go back. Cyan come down. TheTrainGod9 is pointing over there. AbstruseCrowd47 says Jedi you're here. AbstruseCrowd47 is pointing over there. EliteCyanYT says TheTrainGod9 says choose any. Says E. TrainGod9 says E-Train is not available RN. YT says then F. Says Cyan go up. Jedi come down. TheTrainGod9 says I meant, Spirit, come. TheTrainGod9 is pointing over there. TrainGod9 says 1, 2 or 3. Nine says where is Jedi? EliteCyanYT says up here. The train. EliteCyanYT 47 says he might be doing SMTA. TrainGod9. The train. Teleported Spirit YT 3399 to EliteCyanYT. The train is okay. Next we need to talk about rules. What rules should I add? The train got EliteCyanYT says none, they are fine. The TrainGod9 says how about you AbstruseCrowd47? AbstruseCrowd47 says IDK. The TrainGod9 says y'all have y'all own houses, right? AbstruseCrowd47 says OWWIT. EliteCyanYT says except for Spirit. AbstruseCrowd47 says no griefing each other's bases. The train. The TrainGod9 says Spirit, can you stop? Boy 1191 joined the game. Boy 1191 to AbstruseCrowd47. The TrainGod9 says Farry, you're late. EliteCyanYT says Farry is here. The TrainGod9 says sit down. Elites. The train. The TrainGod9. Spirit YT 3399 says excuse me. Teleported Spirit YT 3399 to AbstruseCrowd47. The TrainGod left the game. The TrainGod9 says YT says usually that's because the New York internet is trash. And he rejoins. York. TheTrainGod9 says Spirit. You don't have an house, right? TheTrainGod9 says Spritty stop. $3,399 says I don't have a house. TheTrainGod9 says put the arrow away. I'm going to punish him. Put him into survival. And 91 joined the game. Teleported Fairy Boy 1191 to TheTrainGod9. Teleported Spirit YT 3399 to the EliteCyanYT says oh okay. 99 to AbstruseCrowd47. Teleported Spirit YT 3399 to EliteCyanYT. Teleported AbstruseCrowd47 to Spirit YT 3399. TheTrainGod9 is pointing over there. Farry Boy 1191 says why. Teleported EliteCyanYT to Spirit YT 3399. TheTrainGod9 is pointing over there. EliteCyanYT says AbstruseCloud is using arrows. EliteCyanYT says Farry choose a line. Farry Boy 11 teleported Spirit YT 3399 to Jediduckyt. TheTrainGod9 says sit down now. Farry TrainGod9 both of you are shooting people with arrows. Stop. Says and Spritty stop escaping. AbstruseCrowd47 says Spirit. Teleported Spirit YT 3399 to EliteCyanYT says I think he's hacking, how can he escape? Farry Boy 1191 says if someone was bad they will get in trouble.